Well, Funsha, how are you?
Yes, I'm well.
Okay, speak use some informal term to say that you are okay.
I'm Jackaloo.
Yeah, that is, or you may say that I'm doing fine
Yes.
in simple English.
Yes.
Okay? All right. So today let's talk about some casual things. Like I'm interested in knowing how you have learned English.
As because this is an international language.
Not why, but how.
Yes.
Because you have studied at an Indian medium school, I mean Indian language school. So how have you learned spoken English?
As this is an international language and which is very much different than the Indian languages. There are many different Indian languages. So I had vigorous interest, but there was no way out how to start. I see the other people how nicely they are going to talk. Their lips are going to smooth enough to utter those English words, but I cannot understand that how exactly I need to start out. So
But what is that situation that triggered that desire in you?
the situation, if you tell me that how it has triggered me up, just because my preceptor who has given me the incentive of the starting this language. So just because from him I got the inspiration, looking at him, I thought that no, if I can start, so what are the ways out? So after that I sat with that preceptor and he lead me how to start out.
I have heard that at your school a workshop was held and you took part in that workshop. And that was the very beginning of your learning English.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head. They're absolutely right. I was the part of the workshop, but I didn't knew it what actually was going on. The workshop was going on near about 10 days. So out of 10 days, nothing of single day has given me the inner meaning of the workshop, but I was the part of from the beginning to end. And after that, I was going to follow my co-partners, those who have joined, those who are the member. So gradually, I started focusing them just because for me it was absolutely different. Like other people, I was not at all, just because first thing is that I was not in a position to understand what is the inner meaning of a sentence, and as well as I cannot frame a sentence. So this was my condition. From there, I started up just because following the people.
As you have not studied at an English medium school, it was in fact difficult for you to frame English sentences. If I'm not wrong, you didn't have a very strong vocabulary even.
Yes, absolutely. Just because, as I've already said on the set, that there was not at all possible for me this foreign language to start up or to continue. But as I was going to follow my preceptor, as I was following my co-partners, those who are going to speak, so I said that how they can speak, so why I can't. So what I have started doing, I have started realizing where the lacunae I have. So after that, I have started sitting with my preceptor, and preceptor started guiding. So I started following the instruction and the advices the way he used to, and practically I used to involve very much deeply. So for that reason, I have seen that it has taken me near about 2.5 years to understand this particular language. So after that, gradually I started stepping up into the practical ground to communicate with the people.
I'm categorically interested in knowing how you have developed your vocabulary, English vocabulary.
Just because I have seen that while I am communicating with the people at that particular point in time, it is very much natural. Whatever with the language a person speaks, first thing is that a person need to collect huge number of stocks of the words. Just because whenever a person is going to explain something at that particular point in time, the person needs the vigorous help of the word collection. Without word collection, a person cannot express his or her feelings or the thoughts. So for that reason, I initially, whenever I started speaking with the people, I used to stop. I used to mumble. Why? Just because due to the exact word at the right time, I couldn't use it. So for that reason, what I started doing, I started burning the midnight oil. In the meantime, I started collecting the each day minimum range of words which we help me the days to come to communicate with people like this. Once upon a time I have seen that I have collected a huge number of the words, so which has helped me communicating with the people.
Specifically, from which source or sources have you collected words,
Just
English words?
While I have seen that this particular English words, if I need to collect, it's not possible for me to communicate with the non-English people, speaking people rather. So I have started collecting the words from the English speaking people. So from them, whenever I used to communicate, I used to see that there are number of words which are absolutely unknown to me. So I started collecting those words from them whenever I meet with them. Always I used to carry with me, or till now I carry with me a piece of paper and as well as a pen or a diary or the notebook, where I see that if there is any uncommon word, the word I note it down. Why? Just because it will help me the days to come whenever I will be using those words. Just because I have seen that they were started speaking very well, so I need to know that how they are speaking, so why I can't. So to compare myself along with my own self, so I felt that the word collection is required. So the source of the word collection is the English communicating people from.
Okay, earlier you did not know English.
No, not at all.
Well, at that time, did you watch English films?
No, just because it is not the at that time that much popular the digital world the way right now it is popular. Just because at that time there was even no concept of the cell phone. Just because at that time only the TV was the bit popular in the society. So at that particular point in time, in most of the cases, the option also were not there. So for that reason, there was only one source, that is the communicating with the people and reading the newspaper and as well as different sort of very simple story books from where the word collection can be, and as well as practical ground. I am speaking with the people, or I was speaking with the people at that particular point in time.
But these days, English films are very much accessible.
Yes, over here I would like to share one of my experiences, that while this particular option called the digital world I have started using, I can still remember first time while I was watching an English flick. At that particular point in time, all the words were passing through my ears, blowing over my heads. Nothing head and tail of the sentence I cannot figure out. So after that, what I have started doing, that particular one flick I have seen near about 4 to 5 times. So at the end of this session, I found that few sentences can be understandable. Just because at present there are many people, they use the subtitle, so it is absolutely different. Just because whenever a viewer is going to watch a movie, whenever a viewer is going to watch the subtitle, both the thing cannot possible for a viewer exactly to enjoy the moment. So for that reason, a person need to watch the movie and a person need to listen to what the actor and actresses are going to tell. So after that, the person can figure out the sentence inner meaning.
These days, have you formed the habit of watching English movies?
Yes, weekly nowadays I watch 3 to 4 days.
English movies?
Yes.
Or English series?
No, English movies I watch. Even sometimes I watch on YouTube different sort of program as one of my favorite programs. If you talk about the American Got Talent, where they are mainly the American people's related show goes on, how a person is talented that they can execute through their performance. So like this, whenever I find time, I mainly now involved with movies and different sort of programs on YouTube.
These days, when you watch English programs, do you understand everything?
Yes, exactly. I will not tell that everything I can understand, but right now, out of 10%, 9% is clear to me whenever I listen to the people or the speakers or the actor or actresses, those who are speaking. Mostly is understandable, which was not at the initial stage.
So these days, when you speak English, do you use those words which
Yes,
you collect?
as much as possible, I try to execute myself, and as well as it's not that always possible. Each and every word always you can use it. The situation varies, and the matter is that at what particular note I am going to communicate with a person. So that particular thing also very much important.
What is the difference between formal English and informal English?
Formal English and the informal English difference. If we talk about formal English, means whenever we are going to communicate with a person at that particular point in time, we need to see two things. Number one is that the age group, in which age group we are communicating with the people, and as well as the circumstances in which circumstances are going to speak. For example, that if I am talking to a person who is senior to me, so at that particular point in time I need to use as formal as possible the words are, and as well as the situation or the circumstances I need to see in which place I am present. If I am present particular place where there are many dignified people are present, so I need to use as much as the formal words I am going to use it. As like as if I would like to talk about the greedy, there is a word called the rapacious. So this word I can use it in the formal way. So like this I need to see first thing that in which circumstances and what sort of people I am going to communicate. This one is the number one, which is known as the formal. And informal is that whenever we are going to communicate, especially with our fellow friends and people, even the person is maybe senior but he or she is very much frank with us, at that particular point in time the word we can use it the way we can. Just because, for example, if I am asking anyone that what's your name, it's a very formal way we can use it. But whenever we are going to communicate with the people surrounding us, those who are very much friendly with us, at that particular point in time we can use it that what's your moniker, may I know please. So like this we can use it. So this is called the formal and this is called the informal.
Okay, now one last request to you. Tell a few sentences, especially for those who are interested in learning English.
In English, if anybody has the vigorous interest, the first thing is that a person need to very much relax. It is not a very different language, though the sound is very much goosebump giving situation, someone like that. At the initially the person, most of the people they are very much afraid, they concentrate the grammar part. I don't think so grammar part initially it's very much important, but it is afterwards. Just because whenever a person is going to speak, at that particular point in time the person need to fly like a free bird from a cage. So at that particular point in time, whenever the person is will be very much flexible, at that particular point in time the person need to concentrate on the grammar or the sentence qualities, what sentences he or she is speaking. So then he or she can be very much flexible in this foreign language called English.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.